Hello! Welcome to Miniland Adventures, a game where you must survive on your own little island and manage your resources, water, and hunger with a twist. Each passing day, you receive more tiles to expand your island, leading you to more resources to obtain, land to expand your base, and new friends and enemies. You can tell this game is inspired by Minecraft because part of the UI and art style. I mean, look at it. I can appreciate games that are inspired by another because it helps share the legacy of other games as well as provide new games that make a concept of their own. I originally saw this game after watching an Instagram video where it touched on part of the game. While it was still in the prologue development demo phase, once I saw it was out, I absolutely had to buy it because, it just looks so cute. This is a fun game. So I started off making a new world where we would get plopped down onto our island. I decided to ignore playing through the tutorial or looking into how to play the game at all solely because I make bad decisions, but that's my own fault. After trying out anything and simply failing at it all, I looked into the tutorial guide and realized I'm going to be in for an adventure. That wasn't a pun. Please stop laughing at me. Now that I had my bearings, I established three goals. Establish a sustainable food and water source, create a suitable living space where I felt comfortable, and explore different islands. We had been prepped with a small amount of resources, a few spaces to walk on, tiles to expand, and some plants. We also learned that when spawning these different tiles, it comes with different biomes, therefore new materials. Also sheep, glorious sheep. They will not be harmed in the near future. We spent our first day going around and collecting resources to maintain our survival and prepare to make tools and eventually our home. We also made a small crafting area and a chest so we could have some organization and production. From here, we were able to discover all we could create, and in some aspects, destroy. We had survived our first day, working through a night planting radishes for the garden, and acorns from our trees, reaching ever closer to our goals. I had also begun constructing walls so that we may have a defensive barrier between us and the outsiders. This was a good start, but we now have discovered something wonderful and frightening. Monsters won't start spawning until day 4, so we have plenty of time now to collect resources and not fear about assaults during the night. We had finally finished building our first encampment. It wasn't much, but it wasn't much. We encountered our first set of provided tiles. Ultimately, we chose the mountains, which led us to an ominous and almost suspicious hole in the ground. We then went down it and learned of an entire cave system where we could acquire even more stone and different materials, but most importantly, mushrooms. So we began to dig, and when we felt broken, we dug more. But we need stone, copper, tin, and my favorite, coal. Glorious coal. Playing these types of games that require mining makes me believe in a past life all I did was live in the mines, to eat, breathe, and love the mine. Eventually I came to my senses and remembered I actually have to go take moments of self-care and eat and drink, but I know one day I will return. While there is no real danger in Night 2, the only thing that could be hurt is my soul. As I began to make flooring for my small little hovel, but I couldn't place them while an entity occupied that spot, basically making it so I had to remove all of my crafting tables to do this. I then later learned that removing the furnace destroys all the items inside, including the fuel. Instead, for some entities, such as the chest, I decided to keep it there without the tiles, both out of risk of losing my items, and I was simply just too lazy to move everything from one chest to another. Onward came day and I received more tiles to expand our land. I chose cherry blossoms because, well, I like cherry blossoms and the color pink. Sue me. At least now we have cats, but I don't think they like me very much, because they don't talk to me. However, with this expanded land, it inspired me. No more living in this tiny hovel. I decided to tear down the walls of a simple hut to prepare building a larger home. During this, I came across a new friend, a goblin, which by the way isn't typically something you are friends with. These things are typically introductions to monsters you fight, but he has a fun hat, so he can stay. And I can't kill him anyway, so I had no choice. He was staying with me, forever. Now I expand my walls to hold a survivor, a warrior. It was not much bigger. In fact, it was only a couple blocks bigger, but it at least provided us a little more room to stretch our legs. So far, so farther. While we have so far begun planting trees, acquiring tiles, a larger home built, this was still far from our goals. This would not be enough to sustain our food and water. Not enough food to eat, lack of productivity to acquire and purify water for thirst, barely any land to call our own. In a structure that just doesn't feel like a home. Now we must work for more. During Night 3, potentially our last night of true peace, I used it to my advantage, to collect stone and resources before the monsters would hunt me for my lunch money. I don't even have any money. I'm a survivor on an island. I finally acquired copper, for which I would use to create better tools than the stone ones I used then. I could chop faster, mine faster, fight stronger. Now I had advanced technology for years to come, but it was already day 4, and monsters were going to be spawning soon. And while I had new weapons, tools, a larger home, there was still something missing. A wall. I used the pink wood from the cherry blossoms to create my fence. I like pink, what can I say? It's pretty. So we began construction, readying ourselves for potentially a fierce battle as we didn't know what the monsters were yet. But now was the time to act. As one should hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. For what is a king without a castle, and a castle without a wall? Dead. They're all dead. It was night. The demons show their faces at last. It's the skeletons. They truly aren't as scary as I thought. Turns out, they really kind of just try to swing at you and hope for the best. We killed them rather easily. We killed a couple of them. After this point, we now understood part of the enemies we face and their capabilities, which would be very generous to even say capable. So instead, we put focus into more of our goals. Expansion. We received more tiles and started to explore a fall style of biome, where you can get maple syrup from trees, and farming. We now had an appropriate space to place all of our delicious radishes to grow into something more, something wonderful, instead of it just being right in front of our house blocking our fences. We also built a little orchard for the maple trees, for the wood, and food resources of the delicious stickable syrupy goodness, which also gives you thirst, making a note of that for later. I honestly just spent a lot of time making an orchard and zoning out collecting resources, so let's skip to something eventful. Oh, hey, there we go. We made a water dispenser. We made this water dispenser so we didn't have to always run to the water and purify it every time we wanted a drink. This doesn't seem like a huge achievement, but believe me, it actually really saved me time and sanity. I don't think I can properly word how happy it made me to see it be actually functional, as I thought it was kind of just going to be furniture. Water is probably my favorite drink on this planet. It tastes delicious, and in game it goes down very quickly, and our goal is to establish a steady source of water and food. Dying wasn't on the list. After surviving another night bravely, and not staying in my home because a sandman threw fireballs at me and I got scared, I was able to expand the garden even further, getting us closer to achieving our somehow difficult goal of containing food steadily. Very much on a side note, because I did nothing with this new information, alpacas, or llamas, I don't know which one. Our home was steadily growing, and with it, so was my serotonin. I built a fence around our garden of radishes, hoping to one day add something other than just the same plant, but for now, it will do. I kind of needed it to be walled off until I could place more torches, since it was a bit dark and I was afraid of monstrous murderers on the horizon. With new torches placed and making my territory safe, I also made a pen in which it was made for sheep. However, I forgot to lure some in, and for a while I instead only kidnapped a goblin. But hey, beggars can't be choosers, right? Unless you choose to be a beggar, which we're not doing that right now. Nearing the end of the stream, I knew my final 2 acts. We had scouted new lands, encountered hardships, created a farm and water supply source. But we didn't have a comfortable home or farm for sheep, so I worked, and I worked, to expand our home, making nice looking tile patterns so it could be pleasing, and created something great enough to be considered a home. Afterwards, it brought me the motivation to finally have sheep captured, so we could feed it radishes and have unlimited sheep, because that's how it works. And so we did it. We completed our initial goals right in the end. We could rest. What defines a home? Is it a place to come together with loved ones and share memories? Is it simply a place where you can go to rest your head? Or is a home a place where you feel like you belong? No matter what you may define a home, just remember, that home is worth defending. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, feel free to show your support in any way you feel like it, as it's greatly appreciated no matter what you do. If you would like to check out some of my other videos, I'll attach the Baldur's Gate video where me and my friends did stupid hours and, well, lost brain cells along the way. But until I see you in the next video, have a good one.